Hey, what's up, guys? Hope everybody's doing well and having a great day. Happy Independence Day to everybody in the United States that's celebrating the 4th of July. Hope you guys have a great day. In this video, I'm going to take you guys to Texas. You're going to see something here very unusual in the sky. This is no ordinary orb that Waylon T was filming way off in the distance. You can see the original over here on the left. I zoomed in on the right, and when I zoom in even closer, you're going to see something quite extraordinary over there in the distant sky above Texas. We're going to look at another mysterious craft above Texas here in just a moment. But first, here at the website, quick look at the GOES X-ray flux at the Space Weather Prediction Center. You can see, like yesterday, we're seeing an increase in solar activity. Yet another moderate solar flare, and you can see a slow incline in the overall solar activity. Looking at the planetary K index, you can see yet another minor geomagnetic storm, and this was within the last 24 hours. So solar activity is definitely on the rise. Hopping over to the Yellowstone supervolcano caldera, looking at the seismographs that monitor the mighty supervolcano, about the same as it looked yesterday. Quite a bit of dark blue, which represents magma intrusion. But looking at the seismograph here right in the center of Yellowstone Lake, that is a lot of earthquake activity. Very small earthquake activity, but you can see what looks like dozens of red vertical lines, and each one of those represent earthquake activity. And the next seismograph we're going to look at least up close, is the one at Old Faithful. You can see a lot of activity here, and I can remember years ago looking at this seismograph, and there was never any type of activity on here at all. I mean, if you saw something like this on the seismograph at Old Faithful, it was a pretty big deal. And now look at it. There's activity all over the place, pretty much occupying the entire seismograph. So a little bit of activity at the Yellowstone supervolcano caldera. Quick update on Hurricane Bonnie out here in the eastern Pacific. This thing is a long duration hurricane. You can see right now it's a Category 1, supposed to be a Category 2 in the next 12 hours, and then remain a Category 2 for the next 4 days. Unbelievably large storm that's developing in Eyewall right now. This has been a strong system that started in the Atlantic and is now cruising over here in the Pacific, actually gaining strength right now as I do this video. We're going to start out here with a video that was sent in from Texas by Colleen out of Decatur, Texas. This was no ordinary light in the sky. She was compelled enough to stop her vehicle and start recording this light that was stationary in the nighttime sky. And we've all seen airplanes in the nighttime sky, and I don't believe this was an airplane, because most of us, when we do see airplanes in the sky, we don't stop our cars and start recording. But Colleen saw this in the sky, and remember, this was stationary. She says it's just sitting there. This thing was kind of parked in the nighttime sky. She zooms in, then I zoom in a little closer. There doesn't appear to be any type of color associated with these lights. And she says here, what is that? And usually in most cases, we can identify an airplane pretty quickly. This was not an airplane, and this was not a helicopter. Could have been a drone, I suppose. I'm not the oracle when it comes to all shapes and sizes of drones, but either way, unusual light in the skies above Decatur, Texas. Great observation. Now we're going to another location in Texas. I'm not sure of the exact location, but I know the video was taken by Waylon T, and he noticed this bright white orb way off in the distance here. The original video's over here on the left. I haven't zoomed in on this one, and this is what he noticed. That's what compelled him to take the video in the first place, was this object just kind of hovering in the clouds. It wasn't moving. This too was stationary in the sky. He observed this for 45 minutes, approximately 45 minutes in the same location. I'm going to zoom in, slow this down, and you're going to see there's other activity in the proximity of this white orb or whatever this thing may be that was in the sky above Texas. It wasn't alone, and it appears to be changing shape. Don't know, something really odd here, but this is what he was seeing over here on the left. Now I zoom in, I slow it down, I do a little bit of enhancement work, but all in all, this is about as good as it gets because it was so far away. But when I zoom in close, you're going to see multiple objects, not just one, like he saw from his vantage point on the ground looking up at this thing. When you zoom in, you can tell that this thing was not alone, and it was doing some things that were kind of unusual. Not something that a balloon would do, not something a helicopter would typically do. You're going to see objects appear that weren't there in the beginning. You see one object right there, then all of a sudden a second one shows up. And it does that multiple times. This is the original white orb that Whalen noticed off in the distance. See a black one there? Where did that come from? I mean, this is just totally bizarre. There's another one right there. Went from 1 to 2. Now we've got what looks like 3 in the same area. And those were black. There's another one right there that looks like it's black. Where are those things coming from? I mean, this thing was totally not alone over there. But just looking at it from the ground, it was so far away and probably about 5,000 feet up in the sky. It looked like just an ordinary white orb in the sky that, we see from time to time. There was nothing ordinary about this thing here at all. It was changing shape. It didn't look like it was alone up in the sky. Every once in a while, as you're seeing right here, here's another example. 2 show up instead of just 1. Have no idea what they were doing, and I don't claim to know what this is, and neither did Whalen. He just happened to notice this thing. Here's another unique shape of what looked like 2, maybe 3 objects there at the same time. He just happened to notice this thing looked out of place. It's not every day you see a white orb just kind of parked in the sky, not being influenced by the upper level winds, because keep in mind, at 5,000 feet, there's a steady flow of winds up in the sky that are always there, the jet stream and upper level winds that we may not notice from the ground, but in the mid latitudes up in the sky, the wind can be very strong, especially if you get up into the jet stream. So it would be kind of difficult for a balloon to just sit in the same place, especially for 45 minutes. So this thing apparently had some sort of power source of its own to maintain that same position in the sky. But again, as you can see, this thing was not alone. There were multiple objects over there, several different times, as Whalen observed this thing in the skies above Texas for the better part of 45 minutes. There's a darker object there that was not white, looked like it was black. You're going to see another object come in from behind and kind of join this thing temporarily and then disappear. There you can see black kind of behind the white object. There's an object right up there. And then right here, one more time, you see yet another secondary white object join the original first one that Whalen saw in the skies above Texas. Great job, guys. Keep the photos and videos coming. If you have any photos that you'd like to share, you can send those to reports@MrMBB333.com. Thanks for watching. Have a super day and be safe out there.